Hey guys, we're going to put this Astra Platinum blade that's got almost 20 uses into this Aristocrat number 15. Beautiful piece from the UK. Open comb, as you can see, and it shaves really well. I enjoy the shaves thoroughly. We've got a 1250 from Semogue as the brush, and today's soap is Landlocked from Tiki Bar. So we'll try that guy out. All right. I'm going to put the 1250 back in the soak water. It is a Boar brush. Almost everybody needs to soak or prefers to soak a Boar brush prior to shaving. I like about a 3 to 4 minute soak. You can soak it for longer if you want. Doesn't really help it to get much softer. But if you are worried about the tips slow to split, and you want to maybe get them to split a little quicker, you could put them in for a longer soak, like half an hour or an hour prior to the shave. And I found that with a few brushes, that speeds them along in a gentle way. Not quite as bad as that fridge soak trick that's out there, or the some of the other things like blow dryers and all that. All right, well, let us throw this. I was going to throw some water on my face, but let's throw this blade in the razor first, because I've got to manipulate this paper with dry hands. So let's wait on the water until. And this has the flanges here that are on the end of the center bar. It's one of the ways you can identify this razor. Also by the fact that the center bar does not come up through the doors. It's also open comb. Doesn't have end plates, or end caps on the little arms, the support arms there. It's also hollow on the bottom. This shiny, unknurled part is pretty much flush with the handle and the knob with the 16 and some of the others. It's got a solid knob, and then here it's much more indented by maybe 2 or 3 millimeters, and so it's easy to spot. And the handles also just look different once you know what to look for. They're also closed comb. Okay, now we can put some water on the face. All right. I'm sorry that my videos might be slow to be uploaded. Not as consistent as usual, but it's because a lot of my personal time has been taken with my new commute to work. I used to work from home. Please bear with me. So this is Tiki Bar Landlocked. I forgot to note the fragrance, but it's kind of a fruity. It's nice, real pleasant. I have tried one of the few cases where I have the matching aftershave, so I'm going to whip that out. It's rare that I do. And these are made by Grumatorium, which also makes Chiseled Face and Stubble Buster, and so it's a pretty good base. Not too expensive, and so you get what you pay for in this case. You'll still get a very nice lather. It's just not going to be top tier. That's fine, because you're not paying top tier prices. All right, so we'll take the 1250 out, shake a little bit of the water out, and we're going to load for, why don't we do 30 seconds? And I started right at the 45 point. Now this hasn't been used in a while. Why don't we do 40 seconds, just because I have been getting inadequate lathers lately, because I'm working with PDP and it's a really hard soap, and apparently, it just takes way, that's 30 seconds, and well, one more second. And that looks like it's going to be plenty. Let's just use that. We'll just go with we'll stick with 30. And we do have some overrun here. Yeah, it's just a nice kind of sweet, fruity type scent. Maybe a few spices or something just to give it a little bit of interest. Probably like Chiseled Face, it's going to give me a nice slick layer. It may not be the creamiest lollipop on the stand, but it'll be good. I have used the Captain before. And I've got another Tiki Bar soap that I've used or will use at some point. I just got it when I ordered a box of, I bought some used soap from somebody, and it had about 80% of some items that I just really wanted, and so I didn't mind trying a few new things. I'm probably not going to keep the Tiki bar soaps or too many of them around, but this is sweet. It's kind of uncommon, so actually I may keep this one around. But man, it sure is nice to have a nice lather coming together fairly quickly. And I think the lesson with the PDP, the Prix de Provence number 63, man, I love that scent. It's a vegan soap, and it's a hard puck, quad milled. I've been experimenting with it lately. I'm doing some usage testing on it, and apparently it's just, it might even take 2 or 3 times as much loading, especially with soft bores like this. It may just take a lot more loading than I thought. And so that's why I've kind of been getting, lackluster lathers. Plus, I've been trying to face lather with it just for grins, try to increase my face lathering skills. And I have definitely not changed my mind that bowl lathering is my preferred way to go. But it's always good to expand your horizons and try new things, because someday face lathering might be the way to go. Or with my new job time frame, I may face lather every once in a while due to low time constraints. But to be honest, it's not that much lower. 5-7 minutes is it's shorter by that much. And to be honest, I'd much rather spend those minutes with my face in a better lather. I'm compiling kind of pros and cons. And also, I can't really sit here doing a bunch of bowl lathers and answer questions about face lathering if I don't have, some reasonable experience with it. I can't say bowl lathering is better than face lathering if I don't know why it is. If I can't explain it and kind of prove it, that would be ignorant. But to authoritatively kind of speak to it, you kind of have to be good at both. One guy on the internet put together a really crappy bowl lather, and then he used that as justification why face lathering was so much better. That really wasn't all that fair, was it? Okay, so we've got 4 teaspoons of water in this soap. Oh, now something else, something drier. It's kind of coming out. Not sure exactly what it is. Maybe the scent is just weakening down just a little bit as the lather is being hydrated, diluted, empowered just a little bit. 1250 is a nice brush. It is, let's see if I've got the data up here. The 1250 is the best grade hair from Semogue. The Extra is a lower grade. The Premium and the Special are higher grades than best. The 610 is a sterling brush that has the same grade of hairs as this one. The loft on this one is just a little bit longer, so it's probably a little bit, but it's barely longer, but it's just a couple millimeters. This longer handle is better for bowl lathering, and I don't have the other one, and I have this one because the other handle is that acrylic acrylic handle that just gets so slippery when you're bowl lathering. So I like these wooden hands. Man, this lather looks great. It's kind of pillowy, and it kind of looks like it does need more hydration. So let's give it a little bit more. So now we're refilling. If I put all this syringe in, that is 6 teaspoons of water in this for a 30-second load. I think I went ahead and put a whole teaspoon in. we're kind of near the end of adding the water, so that was a little bit risky and may have been too much water, but I don't think so. So we'll just make sure it has a good mix and just shave with what we have here. I'm sure it will be enjoyable. Yeah, the fruitiness, those must have been top notes or something to that effect, because see, top notes come out, get all up in your nose in the beginning, and then they fade away. They're still there a little bit. So there may be some heart notes of fruitiness or something like that in there, some middle notes. But something else is coming out, almost like an aldehyde or something like that. I'm sure that's not what it's supposed to be. Who knows how accurate my nose is. All right, water on my face again. And I have, see, a few face lather, and that's okay if you do. Your choice, your life, your beard. When I face lather, I start off with a concentrate that needs to be mixed, and so you work on your face with it for a while. But see, with this lather, it's already made in the bowl. It's just immediately comfortable and soft right off the bat. And this is not really a soap base that's going to get super creamy on you. If it is, then you probably have it way too dry. But it'll be slick, it'll function well, and it's cheap. Switch to the painting motions and kind of lay down the lather layer that I'll then shave off. Yep, nice lather. I've got plenty of it. Not a lot of strength to the scent as we're shaving here. I can tell I'm wearing something, but it's really quite minimal, maybe 3 out of 10. So this is the 20th use of whatever blade I told you I put in here. I'll remember it in a second. Astra Platinum. And it's working well. I feel the cutting action. I don't really feel I feel the blade just a little, but it's very controlled. It's a very good cutting feeling. I do feel that, it's possible I could, give myself a cut if I, just made a stupid maneuver. But it feels in very good control. See, and we can kind of rub some of that lather around just to get a feel for it. Yeah, it's nice. And also to put it on some of the areas that, sometimes can get a little tender, just to help them out with some good ingredients. And rinse. Again, not really all that of a luxurious soap, but a practical one that'll do you well. And this scent, now this is an older, well, I don't know. I don't think it's super old, but it's definitely not current, I believe. And so some of the scent may have disappeared because of age. And who knows, the person who had it before me, some people believe that they should uncap the soap for like 24 hours after they use it, and I think those people have to deal with a much lighter scent soap than others like me who cap it up fairly quickly. Lather looks good, feels good, and this razor's doing really well. It's performing very smoothly right now that we've got some of the a lot of the growth already taken down by that first pass. And you see the way I do my jaw. I just kind of do a line kind of near it on the bottom side. Of course, I've got kind of round jaws because I'm a chubby dude. You guys with a chiseled face, pun intended with this manufacturer, since they also do chiseled face. And so then I can, as I'm shaving this panel here, I can come down, and that usually will meet up with the line I did earlier pretty well. Yeah, very comfortable, fast, nice glide. It's a good soap base. It doesn't compete with the top tier, but that's all right. All right, last pass. Plenty of lather here. While we still have a good bit of lather, boy, I probably have about 3 or 4 passes in here. Show you the consistency in case you want to duplicate this with this same base. See how I pulled up kind of half the lather, and you saw the nice stretch, and then you saw it kind of collapse in on itself, that bottom peak right there. And if we take, see, look at those peaks. They're slowly moving. If we get a lot of it on the brush, lift a lot of it out. These are some things you can do. You can look at that stretch. You see how long the peak was when it dropped. What shape does it take when it drops? Does it not change shape at all when it hits the bowl? Does it change shape a lot? The more it changes shape, that's the more hydrated it is. I don't think the shininess or the sheen is really anything to look for. I have remarked about it on my past videos because it is pretty, but some soaps just do it and some soaps don't. I don't think good soaps do it and bad soaps don't. And nor do I think that, properly hydrated soaps do it and then dry soaps don't. I've had kind of all cases happen. Definitely had my share of good lathers that were really well hydrated, elastic, wonderful, that just weren't all that glossy looking. Third pass now, and it's going to go off without a hitch. But again, I am continuing to have a light touch with the razor. The razor is allowed to move on my face. I am not, and see right now, all of my contact is in this one little area right around this position of the handle. I'm not even touching anything like this back area here. I'm holding it very gently so that the razor can touch the skin only as much as it needs to, only as much as it has to be able to keep the blade on the skin. And I love the fact that, this type of shaving with the bowl lather, I don't end up with a shirt totally full and a bathroom floor full of goo, full of lather. And then with this direction here, and then this one here, my little trouble spot right here. Oh yeah, that looks good. Very nice. Comfort and closeness. It is great when your razor and your blade are the big things that contribute to those successful shaves. Your soap definitely contributes to your lather making ability. However, it contributes less than the blade and razor. You can still get a close shave with a somewhat poor lather, but it will be a little better and more comfortable, especially if you have a better, nicely well hydrated lather. And a good soap too. There's some crappy soaps out there. eBay and Amazon are full of crappy soaps. I recommend, if you're unsure, go to maggardrazors.com, and they have a nice selection of many soaps. There's very few that Maggard carries that are not that good. Also, Connaught Shaving, if you're looking, Maggard will kind of have the American soaps, many of them. on hand for you to browse and look at. They'll have so many of them available. And if you want, the Connaught shaving is one of my places to go for the European type soaps. And they have a nice collection there too. They're not as good at Maggard as curating good soaps. So there's a few more duds over at Connaught, but still it's pretty good. And you know what? I've ordered from Connaught a few times, and their shipping to the U.S. is almost the same pricing as a domestic shipment. It really is. All right, let's rinse this off. I'm going to leave my face a little wet. I'm also going to take some Thayer's Witch Hazel. I put it in this spray bottle. It's mainly an aloe tonic with some witch hazel in there. This is unscented and alcohol-free. I may actually want to try the alcohol witch hazel if they have any. I assume because I bought the alcohol-free, that means that they have an alcohol version, but I could be wrong. Since I have oily skin, I might appreciate the alcohol version if there is one. So that witch hazel has helped prepare my skin a little bit, soften the impact of this, and it does have a little bit of skin food, but it has alcohol, so that's very drying. Witch hazel, aloe vera juice, calendula. It does have a little bit of menthol, and it's got some B5. So it's called Landlocked. Let's see. I don't often match my aftershave with the soap, but I wanted to compare the scent. See, I'm getting more of that fruity back now that I do smell from the dry tub. Didn't really smell it all that much from the soap in use. So it's a mild scented soap. Now this menthol will come up and tease my eyeballs a little bit, kind of dry them out. But my experience says that it's not too bad, and it's not as bad as some of the other aftershaves that I just can't even do. All right, well, there we go. Let's take a final look at the closeness. Oh, nice. There's like one hair with some length on it. I'm not going to count that one. Very nice. Not great. I mean, not stunning, but very, very nice. I'm happy with that. And also, if you start feeling a little bit too much burning or something, hit yourself up with a little bit more of the witch hazel. Okay, well, we've done 3 passes, and man, I've easily got 3 more passes in here. So we've got some extra. Definitely didn't have to do 30 seconds of loading. I'm glad I didn't go 40. I'm going to clean up my gear, and we'll be back. You know, this is a wonderful, comfy little brush. It's not super dense. Not a lot of the tips have split, and so it's still nice, even though. And so I'm confident that it's going to be an enjoyable, especially enjoyable brush once it gets more and more tips split. So, and come on, $15 I think is what I paid for this guy. And he's just terrific. Well, 20 shaves in, and that Astra Superior Platinum has not shown any signs that it's going to give up the ghost anytime soon. So that was a comfortable shave, a very nice match between the razor and the blade. The lather was enjoyable as well. 5 teaspoons of water was used. Lightly wet brush is what started everything off with 30 seconds of loading. Happy with the brush. Man, I can't wait till that guy splits even more. I think he'll become denser, right? So the density thing could be a variable that changes with time, I think. One of the problems with having so many Boar brushes, I don't know, 12. They're so cheap. It's easy to pick them up and collect them, you know. Every few months I would just buy one, you know. One of the disadvantages of that is that you're using them all, if you use them all in a kind of a rotation to be fair and to just test them out and enjoy the variety, they're all rising up in usage very slowly. And so they're not splitting as quickly as they would if you were to focus on maybe just 2 of them. If you are using Boars and you're trying to get it to grow up, You can use it every day if you want, but I might encourage you to have another brush to use and do it every other day, because then you can get that dry, wet cycle going. It'll help those tips to split, I believe. Now, maybe just using it every day, I don't know if it would be just as fast. I think the wet dry cycles, from what I've read, is an important factor if you can do that. Or maybe I have a little small light duty fan that I sometimes will put my brushes on in front of, to where just a light breeze, nothing mega, a light breeze will just help to make sure those tips are dry in just a few hours. And that way you get a nice wet dry cycle. And so with something like that, maybe the same brush every day, you could get some good splitting, and easy, natural, safe splitting with that kind of arrangement. There's definitely some other spices, maybe a slight hint of a woody note to this landlocked aftershave splash, and the sweetness that was an introductory note that left. It's enjoyable in the beginning, and then it graduates to some more steady woody, spicy type notes, and not overly spicy, not too much clove or any of that kind of thing. I'm still enjoying it. I'm a big fan of this aftershave. All right, well, I'm glad I got a chance to try that soap. I think I will be passing it on to somebody else who might like more lightly scented soaps. It's a pretty good performer. I'm not gonna, I think it'll be good. And there we go. I sure hope there was something in this video that has helped you out with your shaving journey. You take care. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Good night.